Hello and welcome to the Dune Minute Podcast, your place to dive deep, minute by minute, into the cinematic adaptation of Frank Herbert's World of Dune. I'm one of your hosts, John.
And I'm Zach.
And once again, we are joined by Dune Navigator Martin.
Hello.
And we are talking more about, surprisingly, Dune.
Wow.
This is not a Deep Space Nine Star Trek episode, as much as you may want it to be.
You're right. We're now a Voyager podcast.
Fuck.
So continuing on where 7 of 9 decided to kiss Ensign Kim. Is that where we left off?
The unpromotable Ensign Kim. All right, John has left now again.
I mean, you guys can go for it.
No.
John,
We'll talk
John,
about
let me ask you this. Are you okay?
Yes.
Well, guess what? Paul is okay.
So is Paul.
So is Paul.
Yeah.
So as we get back into it, we are, of course, talking about minute 117 through 118 of Dune Part 2. We left on the cliffhanger of Chani asking Paul, is he okay?
And I love that when he responds, he's not looking at her and he's just completely like gone in some other thought or whatever. And he's just like getting up, also not looking at her and just kind of like sitting up a little bit. And she asks him, are you sure? And he says, thanks to you.
Let's stop right there. Thanks to Mom. Thanks to either
much.
Jessica or Alia or the both of them. Jalia. Like, no, it's not Chani. Chani didn't want to do it. Chani was pouting.
Well, yeah, they'll get into that later.
Yeah.
This is the time where she's not shouting accusations around. She takes credit for others' actions here. Yes, it was technically her tears that helped. She was pretty damn unwilling to give them at first.
Yeah. And because, Paul has confirmed that he's doing fine, thanks to her, of course.
Yep.
Chani, relaxes and kind of sits up, slows her breathing, regains her composure, and then we see her face turn a little angry.
It's the classic Zendaya scowl.
The classic Zendaya scowl as she winds up and smacks the ever-living fuck out of Paul. And I don't know what, side of beef this Foley artist had to smack to, get that perfect slap sound, but so good. It was just the perfect, just whip crack smack kind of sound. And
you ever been slapped full force like this?
No, actually.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Not a good feeling at all.
I imagine it's not.
If you re-listen to it, Paul even gives that a little, yeah. There's the slap and then,
Yeah, I mean, she put body weight behind this hit. I mean, this is a good hit on her part.
There was some ancestral energy in that slap for sure. Paul's not the only one that can call on his ancestors.
Right. And his face read to me like he's thinking, I probably deserve that.
More just all right, I'll let her get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she doesn't stick around, really.
She just storms off.
For this. She storms off. Paul watches her go, and we get All Day Cookie Dough blasting in the background here. So iconic scene. Paul is alive. Chani's pissed. And I kind of feel like, if I'm remembering correctly, this is going to be the dynamic between them for a while.
For the rest of the movie?
For the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, we still have about 50-ish minutes left in the movie, but yeah, they're not, all lovey-dovey anymore. It's definitely a little trouble in paradise.
Yeah.
But yeah, she storms her way past Gurney, who doesn't even try to stop her or anything.
He's still looking around like, what the hell's going on?
And Paul just kind of stares back at Gurney. And, we then cut to Jessica, who is just Lady Stressica-ing her way through all of this at this point. And we get a really cool practical transition where the light source that was pointing at Rebecca Ferguson immediately like turns away and gets cut out. And we see, Rebecca Ferguson like kind of close her eyes and turn away from the camera almost.
Yeah.
And I think this is the second time that we've had any kind of practical transition like this, where the other one was the light when Jessica took the water of life, and then the light above her was like slowly dimmed down.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this.
Yeah.
This transition that we get. It's such a great, satisfying way of portraying that time has passed.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happened here. We'll get into it in later minutes, but it was just such a really cool way of doing it. And I love it when they take the time to plan this stuff out and to actually do this kind of thing, because it would have been an easy and probably correct decision to just do something like this in special effects and post editing.
Yeah.
But doing it in camera is always so appreciated, and I don't think it gets the love that it deserves a lot of times.
No, completely agree. And the other thing that they did, if I can skip ahead like 1 or 2 seconds more, is once we get that transition, we're kind of focusing on Paul, who's sitting on some steps, and kind of all the color is drained from the screen. It's almost black and white, and I can't take any credit for this. I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's a YouTuber called Lancelotti. I might be butchering his name. I'll send over the link of the video just so you can post it in the show notes maybe. He did a 10-minute video about Dune and color coding. Have you seen that?
I have not.
No, I haven't.
It's totally worth 10 minutes of your time. He basically talks about how Villeneuve and his crew set up kind of a color coding of the various factions in the movie, just to then break it. And like, I'm not smart enough to pick up on this, but now that he explained it to me, it's just ingenious. So what he says is, obviously, like the Atreides and Caladan, that's all kind of deep greens and blues, right? Then if you go to Arrakis, everything's going to be kind of orange tinted, brownish hue. If you go to Kaitain and the Imperial family, everything is gray and gold. Like, that's the Imperial colors, gray and gold. So then he says, once these relationships with colors are set up, there's scenes where the color codes are broken very much on purpose.
Yep.
For example, when the Emperor is with Irulan at the Sanctuary, talking about Duke Leto's death, they're surrounded by the garden, by greenery, because obviously they're talking about the Atreides. They're talking about Duke Leto and how he was assassinated. So now with this transition, when we, pun intended, fade to black, well, whose colors are black? Not to spoil everything here.
Yeah.
Black and white without any color. That's obviously Harkonnen colors.
Well, very, very minimal color. We have a little bit of blue poking through from the water.
Sure, but like, this is the kind of, not to spoil maybe the next minute, but this is an amazing way to foreshadow what's to come. And even if you don't pick up on like house colors, you understand the foreshadowing of, something maybe not good is happening here.
Yeah.
And I just love this. And again, I didn't pick up on this when I was watching the movies, completely oblivious. Maybe in my subconscious I registered it, but how the guy explains it, genius.
Yeah. That's really cool. I've never given that any thought, but it makes total sense.
Yep.
That's really cool.
I'll send over the YouTube link.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like 10 minutes and pure gold.
We will. I'll make sure that gets put in the show notes as well, because that's a cool video. So I'm trying to think. This was not a lot of content in this minute.
Well, there's a couple more things.
Okay, go for it, please, because I'm out of notes.
Yeah. Well, we're at our last couple seconds. Paul's sitting by the water. Jessica is on almost the complete opposite side of the pool from him, but she's like a little more on his side of the ring of this pool, so there's kind of a direct line between them, but they're not close to each other in the room. And he's just kind of sitting there unmoving at the water's edge. But one thing that is, kind of giving us some motion is we call back to the very first scene of Dune Part 1, where we have that 40 beat per minute thumper sound going very, very quietly in the background, but it's enough to kind of keep us, moving throughout the little shot here. And I thought that was a really cool, add-in that they made.
Yeah. Well, when I was writing my notes for this one, I was listening to it just on my monitor speakers that I have on my desk. When the thumping came back, I was like, oh no, this is a headphone moment. Make sure to put on the good headphones and really just to get to experience the bass of this thump.
And that's all I have for the minute. I mean, it is certainly a short one. It's a lot of really artistic and beautiful shots and cinematography work, and that's about it for this one.
We get a slap that would make Will Smith jealous. Which is
the one that I have is actually on the slap, and it's both kind of canonically and like real world because canonically, and at this point I'm sure you're not going to be surprised that hashtag not my Chani. But in the actual book, like what happens after Paul wakes up is, and again coming back to the sci-fi miniseries replicating the book's content, is Chani kind of helps Paul consolidate his power. Because Chani, again, she's a religious figure, she's a Sayadina, and what's more, she's Liet Kyne's daughter. And something that is kind of, I don't think it's ever mentioned in these movies, as Liet taught us. Like there's a whole theme both in the books and the sci-fi miniseries that a lot of the ecological transformation and terraforming that's being done, and kind of also philosophical lessons Fremen always kind of frame as Liet taught us, and what Liet teaches we must do, and there's a lot of following going on, both because of who Liet is, but also who Chani's grandfather is and who Liet's father is, Pardo Kynes, who's in the Fremen's eyes was an Umma, which means a prophet.
Yeah.
So he's not at Paul's level with Demadi and the Lisan al-Gaib, but Chani's grandfather is an Umma. So Chani has a lot of kind of sway when it comes to political decisions, in a sense.
Yeah.
So Chani kind of steps up, and after she confirms with Jessica that Paul isn't shitting around and he's actually survived the water of life and he transformed it and he's seen, she helps him and stands by him, as opposed to movie Chani, who
smacks
rushes out
the shit out of him and then runs away.
But then this is the non-lore question I have is, are we, like, it makes for a good movie moment, but like, is that a gag? Like, is that a teachable moment in terms of how we handle conflict in a relationship? Like, is that the kind of person you want to be with? Yes, you were an idiot and almost died, because you might have died because you might not have been the Kwisatz Haderach, but is that okay?
It shows Chani's frustration at the whole thing, but it's not a healthy way of like dealing with it.
And that's a movie invention, which is
like, when does this happen in real life?
Well,
and if it does, like,
you've not met some of my exes.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, do you want to be with those people?
No, I'm joking. But I keep thinking back to when I first saw this movie, and I was explaining it to some friends after they had saw they saw the movie. Now, they are not book readers; they are just the movie enjoyers. And they asked, they were like, "What did you think of the ending of part 2?" And I said, I thought it was a fine movie, but it wasn't. It was, so far from what we get in the books. And we were just talking about the differences, and I think this is and or this and some prior minutes that we've talked about. It's kind of the culmination of a lot of changes to Chani's character, and it sets it at a level that never quite got better for me towards the end of the movie. And John and I have talked many times about how like the rest of this movie is kind of on a slow downhill trend for us.
Agreed. Yeah.
And
I'm sure when you put together your metrics of the Dune minute after the end of season 2, we'll see that.
But
I wouldn't be surprised, and I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of like I don't know. It fits in with her character in the movie, but it's a departure from an even further departure from the character in the book. And I never quite reconciled those two feelings, you know? So it's just further like if they treat them as two separate characters, they're related in name only, really, to me.
The only way that I kind of, and I realize that I'll be arguing against my own point here, but the only way I kind of headcanoned my way out of this, because I don't think this is like, for me, it wasn't frustration. It was an immature reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then from that, kind of, I reminded myself that how old are these people in the story? Because canonically, if you don't have the time jump, these people are, like, Paul is 15, 16 at this point.
Something like
without
that.
the time jump, because the movie didn't do the actual time jump. And then Chani is either 14 or 15.
Right.
Which makes it kind of a little bit gross as well.
No, a lot of it.
But then I was like, oh, okay, so it's not a kind of a woman reacting to a relationship stress of her partner being an actual messiah. It's a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Or not even girl, like girl doesn't even matter. It's a 14-year-old person. And with the immaturities of a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, I said girl, but it doesn't matter. Like, it could have been boy as well.
Yeah.
But my point is kind of is, you know, it's an immature reaction from an actually immature person if you take their canonical ages.
Yeah. And we've mentioned that a number of times on the show, just how we have to remind ourselves that these are children. You know, these characters are kids. You know, they're early.
Yeah, actual teenagers.
Yeah. So it puts in, like, whenever we've talked about how Paul just, you know, he's trying to be cool and he's he's trying to be.
What
like,
are you guys talking about?
Yeah, just like this bravado that he has. He's like, oh, remember how we were when we were 15? You know, that's
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm sure that was a shitty teenager just like that. So
We've all tried to impress people that we liked before.
yeah, of course. So yeah, I think
by
that's
slapping them across the face.
I think that's good context though for her reaction.
Yeah.
Any more notes on it?
I got nothing.
All right.
Yeah.
This was the 1 minute of the movie that Chris Rock couldn't watch.
All right.
Which one was better, the first slap joke or that one?
I feel like the first one was
just
more
like-
on the nose.
Yeah.
I'm more just like, that was so long ago. Is it still a relevant joke?
I think about it every time I see
right.
someone get slapped.
All right. Well, anyways.
And that is about the reaction that joke deserved.
Yep. No, I have nothing else. Everything that we would have talked about with the Maker Temple, you know, from Art and Soul and everything has already been talked about in previous weeks. How it was, you know, built as its own thing inside the sound stages in Budapest. All the other stuff that they have on it is all photographs, which I can't really do in a audio only podcast. Sure. You know, go buy a copy of the book. It's great.
Highly agree.
Not sponsored.
Not yet. Well, yes. Heavily referenced, never sponsored.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this minute here and come back tomorrow because we definitely have some stuff to talk about for tomorrow's episode for sure.
It's going to be a good one.
In the meantime, you can find the Dune Minute online. We are on Blue Sky at duneminute.com, and you can email duneminute@gmail.com if you'd like to get in touch. We'll be back with a Thursday episode tomorrow, and we'll see you then.
All right. See ya.
Bye.